Hey YouTube, welcome back to Cullen TV. Thank you guys so much for watching. Today we're going to be continuing on from yesterday. So we were taking a look at this video right here. It is from Miss Leilani for God on YouTube. She's an awesome content creator. And we left off. Um, so right now she is going through her playlist that she created. So she compiled all this information in regard to King World and just different comments, allegations, things like that against him. She made a playlist with all that information. And so right now in the video, she is just going through and reading comments and playing little clips and things like that. So I won't hold y'all. Let's go ahead and jump right into it.
And someone said, I'm convinced he wants to be infamous. He doesn't care as long as it's clout. And someone said, that boy trying to go back to prison to live his girlfriend life out, his fantasy. And someone said, this took me out. Now, considering that World News put up that picture of those five men with their butts out and said he likes to do his standing up, I mean, maybe World did enjoy his time in prison. They do say that when gay men try to be like straight with women, they become violent and aggressive and abusive because they don't really like the women. This video is in the playlist, King World Tutorials. It says, shout out to Girl News. He always snitches on himself. He makes it so easy to build a case against him. The mind of a sociopath that just loves to be noticed. He loves the mind games. A sick and twisted individual who continues to lie, and he hasn't changed at all. Hacking, doxing is punishable up to 20 years in prison. All those priors, woo! The man is the 6'9" of snitching on himself. Lights out. You're going home to the Bobby Booty Room. Don't forget the Vaseline. You won't have to see my whack channel anymore. King World Tutorials. So King World says, okay, check it, right? It's really not that hard, you know what I'm saying? To hack a Facebook page, to keep it all the way real with you, you know? The reason why I'm making this upload, you know what I'm saying? Because I had a brother, you know what I'm saying, who actually experienced it, you know? It happened to me like over 2 years ago. You know what? So in the video, King World Tutorials, which is in the playlist, World News is literally giving a tutorial on how to hack Facebook. He's claiming because somebody did it to him. So even though it was wrong when it was done to him, he's going to do it to other people now. He thinks two wrongs make a right. But he's doing like a thousand wrongs. Who knows how many people he's hacked into, allegedly. Okay? And that's what it looks like when you're criminal minded. Okay? And studies have shown that criminals have different brains than everybody else. So he may literally, have an organic um, issue that cannot be fixed, cannot be resolved. You can't regrow brain tissue. You can't like regrow brain matter where it's missing. They're missing tissue in certain areas that deal with logic, reasoning, compassion, the frontal lobe part of the brain. Criminals have distorted parts, like career criminals, people who've been in and out of jail, like somebody like World News. He may not have the capacity to go to school and get a trade. He was hollering and screaming and yelling at this woman who came on his panel because she said that she was giving Velvet a whole bunch of money. And World was hollering and screaming and yelling at her, and she maintained her composure. She stayed very calm, very kind, and very polite with him. And she was like, I'm not arguing with you. And he continued to holler and scream and talk over her. And she let him do it. And then when he was finished and she finally got to talk, she said, yeah, me and my husband, we're thinking about starting a company where we'll help people who are low income or whatever get their CDL for free. Oh, wow. World changed his tune. Then he started talking real nice to her. He was like, oh, yeah, that would be great. I would love that. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I like to hear. Now, after you just finished screaming and hollering and yelling and screaming at her, do you really think that she ever wants to talk to you again, much less have to interact with you over a period of time to help you get a free CDL license? Why can't you get your own CDL? All these years that you've been on the internet, you haven't made enough money to go and get your own CDL license to be a truck driver, which is good money for somebody with a criminal record. Why haven't you done that for yourself, world? After you finish hollering and screaming at that woman, do you see the opportunity that you lost for yourself? And now you want to try and be nice to her? Too late, buddy. You already disrespected her with your hostility. I just thought it was so funny how they look alike, Donat and Wurld. They went at each other. They had a big argument online. And then after I exposed Donat, Wurld tried to go and be friends with him. And Donat was like, because it was on somebody else's panel, like Perry or somebody. And Donat was like, Wurld, I don't even, we might fall out again. So even though Wurld was trying to cozy up, Wurld was saying some weird, like homosexual stuff towards Donat. Like Wurld kept saying, I fucks with you the long way. I fuck with you the long way. You just cursed him out like a week or two before that.
Yeah, I can confirm that. I was definitely on, I can't remember if it was Perry or Sherelle's channel, but yeah, that was really weird. I don't know why he kept on saying that.
And now you see him on Perry's panel and you want to tell like Perry gets like 15, 20,000 views on his video. And Wurld had no shame to tell Donat, I fucks with you the long way. Is that prison talk? All right. But look how much they look alike. And the funny thing is, Wurld came into the Kanika Jenkins, the Nature Boy, the Young Pharaoh, and the Jaguar Right sectors behaving just like Donat. So World News is like Donat's grandfather. They have the same style of antagonizing people as a way to get attention and build their platforms. They go at people and start fights and conflicts. That's how they get attention. That's how they do business. Now, we're all co-workers. According to World, YouTube is his job. Now, YouTubers who make a lot of money on YouTube, they always make videos saying, never let this be your only source of income. Okay? World should have been got his CDL license by now. All right? But him and Donat, I don't think that they have the ability to sit still. Donat been saying he's in school for film for years. When is it over? When do you finish? When do you produce something that looks like you went to school for film? When is World News going to do something professional that will make him a respectable man in everybody's eyes? Sitting up on YouTube talking about women, black women all day. You damn for sure don't talk about no white women and no Hispanic women the way you talk about black women. Okay? That's how he feels is the best way to make money. And so does Donat, off the back of women. Allegedly, Donat has 3 baby mothers. You think Donat's paying child support? You think Donat has saved up money for his children to go to college? You think Donat is saving money for his grandchildren? Okay? These are not good men. These are not righteous men. These are demonic spirits. They have no problem going around leaving children with women to bear the burden, and they go off and keep having sex with all the people they want. Never become professional men who can provide. What are the symptoms of being institutionalized? They described institutionalization as a chronic psychosocial state brought on by incarceration and characterized by anxiety, depression, hypervigilance, and a disabling combination of social withdrawal and or aggression. Becoming institutionalized, incarceration, and slow death. That's what happens when you don't have a relationship with God. It is a slow death. Everything that the power that God put in you from the time you was born, it just diminishes and diminishes and diminishes over time. What personality disorder do most prisoners have? This study revealed that nearly 1/3 of incarcerated in prison were found to have an antisocial personality disorder. Okay? One third. So not all incarcerated people come out and harass and terrorize and antagonize other people, but one third do. And World definitely shows signs of antisocial personality disorder. He treats people in many, 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 many ways that he would not want to be treated himself. And scripture talks about the same measuring stick that you use against other people will be used to measure you too. So the same standards that they're over there holding other people to, they will be held to. I've seen it happen in real life with myself and with others. And that's why it's best to just treat other people the way you want to be treated, because the way God has set this up, all this stuff is going to come back to y'all. So y'all can sit over there and pretend what y'all doing is right and it's okay. But that's why you always have to ask yourself, would I like it if it was done to me? Because it's going to be done back to y'all, and it's not going to be the same way. The same way y'all sat up in Velvet and Solar House and filmed their house and all their conversations that was private, unbeknownst to them, and put it on the internet. However you made them feel, however that made them feel. And it probably didn't make them feel that bad because they're still together. And because they already was putting their life on the internet with Nature Boy. So it probably wasn't that bad, but it's still a violation of trust and an invasion of privacy because they thought that y'all was really their friends. So when it happens to y'all, remember that. All of y'all Beam Team, when all of the stuff that y'all condoned, approved, and worked together to pull off, when it happens to you all, and it comes back to you in a different way, Velvet and Solar is not going to do it to you. Other people is going to do you dirty and betray your trust and reveal your personal private information in places and ways that you would not like it to be. Y'all going to get it back. That's how this world is set up. Everything you do comes back to you. That's why it's not a smart idea, and it shows a lack of intellectual capacity to do bad things. Cognitive dissonance. This is what the Beam Team suffers from. The state of having inconsistent thoughts, beliefs, or attitudes, especially as relating to behavioral decisions and attitude change. So they sit up on there, all those people, they talk about all the people World tells them to talk about. They investigate their private lives and invade people's privacy. And then they have cognitive dissonance when they see World go on other people's platforms like Perry's and Trees and start screaming and hollering and yelling at people that's not even arguing with him. Why haven't they told him that that's absolutely wrong? That it's rude, it's disgusting, it's uncivilized, it's not communication. Communication is a sender and a receiver. Perry sat up there and tried to laugh it off. He's like, okay, World, let us talk. Okay, World, let her talk. Okay, World, let her talk. 10 times in a row. Obviously, something is wrong with this man. Why is everybody pretending like it's okay? Treat people the way you want to be treated. Ask the question, would I want to be that person that World is screaming and talking over and won't let them get one sentence out? And he rants and screams and yells for 5 and 10 minutes at a time, never letting you get a word in. And then when he's finished hollering and screaming and yelling to prevent you from talking, he runs. He drops down off the panel. But then he'll accuse you of running when he's the one who runs away. The only way he can talk to you is if you allow him to abuse you verbally. And you have to take it for a long time and stay nice and cool and calm and collected the whole time. Wait for your time to talk, but only if you stay cool and calm. If you get the least bit agitated, he's going to cut you off, drop you, or he's going to leave the conversation. He won't tolerate you talking to him for not even 1 second the way that he talked to you for 15, 20 minutes or for several days, weeks, months, or years. He can't tolerate for a few seconds what he will do to other people for years. Okay? And for all of those people to sit there and accept that and pretend like there's nothing wrong is cognitive dissonance. Okay? You have to really have a lot of mental failures to tolerate all of that nonsense, repetitive conversations. And then he constantly repeats the same thing over and over again. It's already another day of a repetitive subject, but he has a repetitive circular way of speaking on top of that. I don't know how they deal with that, but that's what happens when you don't have no relationship with God. You get tied in with some demonic spirits and they rag, tag, and drag you. Anyway, here's something I found. Marquisio Watson, his name that he was using on Twitter. It says from the bottom, it says, "This official got my pic on Facebook, Marquisio Watson. My first day on Twitter. Hopefully I can get my followers up. Just got out of prison from doing 8 years, my 21 day out. I know it's about to get crazy. You know I'm your number one, right? Okay, about to give this Twitter a shot. I'm back. What's good? Hell yeah, I do. I don't know if somebody was interacting with him. It says 0 following, 21 followers. Brick Vegas is one of his millions of alleged troll accounts. Okay, that's another allegation that's been made. He's got millions and millions and millions of troll accounts, so he will harass you from a whole bunch of different pages, and you won't know that it's him. You will probably think it's the Beam Team or something like that. And I'm not going to argue with these people back and forth. Like, they are clearly lacking in mental capacity, in intellectual discourse, and you know, logic. So I won't be arguing with anyone from the Beam Team, even when he tells women, "Oh, come over here and talk to the women." The women overtalk the women. A woman will get up there and want to say something, and Wurld will be like, "Well, don't talk to me, talk to the women." But they will overtalk her. They will do the same thing that Wurld does. And they will say, "Oh, no, 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 I'm not over talking you." And then five of them, they'll all ask questions. They'll all keep talking when the person is talking. It's very weird. They lack self awareness. They don't know what communication is, a sender and a receiver. They don't know how to be quiet and stop talking. They don't realize that it's 5 or 6 or 4 or 3 women against one, and that all 3 of the Beam Team women are talking and not letting the one woman who came up to talk. They all have this same type of intellectual failing. And if you go back and watch their shows, you'll see what I'm saying. It's true. But they don't realize it. They don't see it. They don't comprehend it. They don't understand it. Okay? Why would anybody want to get up there and talk to any of you when you don't know how to listen? You don't know how to shut up and let other people talk. But you're constantly demanding that other people get up there and talk to y'all. For what? There's no intellectual discourse going on over there. There's no change going on over there. There's no building going on over there. There's no organization going on over there. There's no community building going on over there to go over there and talk to y'all about. Talk to a bunch of people who have no logic. So since World News believes that YouTube is his job, I Googled what are negative workplace personalities. And so here are some of the attributes. If you're at work and you have a coworker who, has negative personality traits, what would that be like? It says here, they gossip, they're arrogant, control freak. Okay? That control freak is why they don't let people talk. They tell people, "Come over here and talk to me to my face." And then when you go over there to talk to them in their face, they all overtalk you, drop you, or they don't let you talk. They ask you 50 million questions. 5 people are talking to you at one time. They never let you get no words in. It's weird. Okay, literally put a timer on how long they talk and how long they let the other person talk. When somebody comes over there to confront them or criticize them or raise a problem or an issue, that's control. Control freak, narcissism, inflated sense of self. You can't tell those people that they're intellectually lacking. They think they're smart. They think everything they say is the truth and that they're always right. When 99, I would say 90% of the stuff they say can easily be debated and debunked. But they think everything they say is true. Apathetic. They really think that they're a team. They're a Beam Team. They think they're a family and a team. But what change are you really making in the world? Okay? There's a lot of things that need to be done, more so than just tracking weirdo cult leaders on YouTube. There's more important things that need to be done out in the world. I don't hear about any of them doing anything. So they're apathetic to reality. And that's probably why the fixation for so many hours every day, the same subject over and over again, keep rechewing the same gum. That means that you don't care about real life. You would rather get lost in pure nonsense than to actually deal with what's really going on in the world. Blaming others. That's what their whole panel is about. 10 people get together to say something's wrong with those other people over there. But if you go check out my Jaguar Right Tokyo Tony challenge, I bet you will find that they cannot pass it. They're not well rounded. They're not investing enough in themselves, in their own intelligence, in their own bodies, in their own spirit and soul. Are you complete with working on yourself or getting yourself to a very high level of development in each of the areas of your life? No, but you're very good at blaming others for 4 to 10 hours a day. Dishonest. I've lost count of how many things they say that are simply not true. And they spread it and pass it around and joke about it every day, over and over again. They created this rumor that Jaguar was selling body oil at the gas station. That was not Jaguar Right. They continued to say it every day. Every time I checked in, they kept bringing it up. Booty oil. I want your booty oil. They made a song out of it. It was not even Jaguar. So they've passed a rumor on the internet, gossiping, lying, being dishonest, saying that Jaguar was selling body oil out of her car. And it was never even true. And they perpetuated this lie, like, repeatedly. Indecisive. Okay. What is the real purpose of that channel? You started out in the Kanika Jenkins sector. You then moved on to the Nature Boy sector, then the Young Pharaoh, now the Jaguar Right. So you're not really caring about what's really going on and trying to solve problems in the community. You're just clout chasing. So your decision making is not based on anything concrete. It's based on something that's selfish and self-serving. And that's why there's a lot of jumping around to different areas where the clout is. The complainer. A lot of people talked about how World News gets mad and starts going off on people if they don't send him money, especially his mods. Allegedly, they have to pay for wrenches. And when they don't pay him, he gets mad and he goes off on them. Argumentative. That's what World News is most known for to people who are not in the Bean team, is being unnecessarily and unreasonably argumentative. Blamers. That's what the whole team is. Bossiness. The whole Bean team. They think they know what's best for everybody else's life, what everybody else should be doing, what they shouldn't be doing. Oh, Velvet, you need to put Solar out. They still together right now. So all that bossing around that y'all did, it didn't work. Chronic liar. Child, please. World News would sit up on his platform and say, I'm going to tell you guys about my criminal past. But of course, he leaves out all of the parts where he put his hands on women. He leaves out all of the parts where he's been tracking people over the internet, following people around, spying on them, hacking, allegedly. He leaves all of that out. Disrespectful. This is a common word that is repetitively associated with World News in the comment sections. Disrespectful, disrespectful, disrespectful. 9 times out of 10, he's being disrespectful to a Black woman. But look how much he praised that white woman. Look how much he praised Hispanic women. Why does he hate Black women so much? Who is his mother? Who is his father? Greed. World News feel like everybody should pay him for his time. No, sir. It's called get a job. Okay? You want to hoard all of the attention for yourself. He attacks other content creators who have not done anything to him. It's a strategy to try to scare them into leaving the internet. And one person did, Simply Anna. She came back to the internet, but World News and the Bean team harassed her so bad that she literally made a video that says, why I'm leaving YouTube. And that video is in my playlist. But Simply Anna came back after a few months. So World News is not only greedy for money, other people's money that he didn't earn, but he's also greedy for attention. He feels like if anybody else is covering the subject, he has to push them out of business. That's not the American way. Capitalism is free enterprise. Capitalism is based on competition where everybody gets to compete on a level playing field, supposedly. Now, I know we don't live in a perfect world and everything don't go that perfect, but the way World News is going about it is even worse than capitalism. World is a dictator. He's trying to be a totalitarian, which is weird because he's not even smart enough to even properly discuss any of the stuff that he's talking about. Everybody that World News has been following around, Nature Boy, Young Pharaoh, Jaguar, these people are mentally ill. You can't fix that. Those people have to realize that they have a condition that needs daily medication and weekly therapy, and they have to commit to going through with that. Okay, you can't fix that. Talking crazy about crazy people is not fixing it. In fact, it just proves that you're crazy because you're not smart enough to realize that talking for 4 to 10 hours a day is not helping or fixing anything. If anything, you're making their conditions worse. Lazy. World, sit down in that chair all day long. A man is supposed to get up, go out, and work and provide for his family. Okay? Sitting up there in those cartoon t-shirts, it doesn't look like you're making enough money to even provide for yourself. Low emotional intelligence. All that hollering and screaming and yelling he does at women and men too, but mostly women. And they're being so nice and so calm and so patient with him. It shows that he is a complete savage. Negativity. None of his videos are about anything good. Either he's doing negative news about the media, about the news media, celebrities, internet personalities. All he focuses on is the negative. He doesn't realize how unhealthy and toxic that is for himself. But I guess that's the vibration that he's on. So that's what he does. Rigid. The way he hollers and screams at people because he's trying to force them to dumb themselves down to his level so that he can comprehend their communication. That's very rigid because you're not well rounded. You're not open minded. You're not well studied. You're not well traveled. You have a very limited, small mind. And that small mind is extremely rigid. That's why you start hollering and screaming at people. So you don't have to deal with reality, which is sometimes it's not going to go the way you want it to go. Stubbornness. Okay. I haven't seen any change in World News since the time he came in the Nature Boy sector till now. Obviously, if people have been making videos exposing you for 4 years up until yesterday, and you still doing all of this, still stalking people stuff, that's beyond stubbornness. Victims, plenty of victims, plenty of people are traumatized by their experience of World News. And this is the type of coworker that we have on YouTube. He fits every single aspect of a negative workplace personality, every single one. And his Beam team is following that lead. King World explains how and why young Pharaoh went crazy. Tell us how and why you went crazy. What happened to you that made you a career criminal? What's wrong with you that you can't get a trade? What's wrong with you that you didn't get your CDL license after all these years that you've been out of prison? What's wrong with you that you don't know how to talk respectfully to people who are speaking respectfully to you? What's wrong with you that you tell people to come over to your platform and talk to you directly and you mute them and you hang up on them and you tell people that they ran? What's wrong with you, world? Your mental capacity is too low for your age. Why are you not able to study, learn, and become a professional of some sort? Why? Because you have no relationship with God. You worship men. You worship Drew Ali and Farrakhan, and people on your platform worship Haile Selassie. God says you shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make yourself idols and worship them. That's what they do over there. They idol worship. And the reason why men like to perpetuate other men is because they hope to become those men one day. So World is brainwashing the audience by him giving Drew Ali credit and Farrakhan credit. Farrakhan and Drew Ali did not put your soul in your body. God did. But you don't want to worship God. You want to worship men. It says you shall not misuse the name of the Lord your God. World News calls itself the God of content, the God of trolls, the God of this, the God of that. World also calls itself the GOAT, which we know is the devil. But the funny thing is, I've heard World News tell people when they were speaking on his panel, they'll be like, oh, I told my kids to go outside. World will be like, don't call your kids kids. That's baby goats. Call your kids children. But how is World going to yell at people telling them don't call your kids kids because it means baby goats, but he refers to himself as the GOAT? Okay. It says, remember the Sabbath by keeping it holy. I was just watching a video with World. He doesn't know what the Sabbath is. He doesn't know what shalom means. How is it that you was the top imam in your prison? You was in prison for 8 years. You was an imam for years and you don't know that Muslims also respect the scriptures of the Bible? You don't know what the Sabbath is? So he says, well, I know the science of the days. I know that Saturday is the first day of the week, and no, Sunday is the first day of the week, and it's about the sun, and Monday is the moon day, and Tuesday is this and that, because I'm dealing with the etymology and the science. That is not science, okay? And it's not etymology. Like, this guy is weird. He doesn't know what words mean. And people are not picking that up. Well, his people aren't. The Beam team can't pick up that he don't know what he's talking about. But he literally said he doesn't even know what the Sabbath is and what it means. So why do people think he has any knowledge? The only knowledge he have is devil knowledge, because he has no knowledge of God. What knowledge has he shown that he has of the Quran? If he was a top imam in a prison, he's supposed to have parts of the Quran memorized. But when he was on Tree's panel and they started to say a Muslim prayer, he started hollering and screaming and yelling at them. That's a demonic spirit that can't tolerate a prayer. How was you the top imam in a prison and you lost your shit talking to two Muslims when they recited a prayer? He went crazy, berserk, screamed, yelled, cursed them out. And it wasn't even his platform. So you're disrespectful on somebody else's platform. You're talking to two Muslims, so why are you hollering and screaming and yelling at them? The Quran specifically say, do not argue with people even when they argue with you. So how was you a top imam in a prison and I know more about the Quran than you? I read the Quran, but I was born Israelite. My God works for me, right? But I respect the fact in the Muslim culture that they pray 5 times a day. Why isn't World doing that? I don't understand. It says, honor your father and your mother. We've never heard of World's mother and father, especially his father. That's really where the problem is. What kind of father do you have? Did you have? What kind of generational curses did you inherit from your father? You shall not murder. Allegedly, World abused a woman into her losing a child. You shall not commit adultery. As long as I've seen World on YouTube, he's dealt with a number of different women. He was with one woman at one time. Now he's living with another woman and all of the women in between from the internet who've come out and exposed him. It says, you shall not steal. Well, that's what he did. He was a robber and a thief, armed robbery. Now, if he was a real Muslim and he lived in a Muslim country, they would chop your hand off for stealing. They probably would have put him to death by now for all of these things he's done combined. His behavior would not be tolerated in a Muslim country. It says, you shall not give false testimony against your neighbor. All of the speculations that they make up against people, even saying that Jaguar was selling body oil and saying that to thousands of people, making up a song about it, and it just was simply not true. This is one of many examples. It's just something I could remember off the top of my head. It says, you shall not covet anything that belongs to your neighbor. All right. So in LaShawn the Don's interview with Queen Tulsa, she was saying that World News is jealous of other content creators that get big numbers. That's why he picks fights with everybody, why he's always miserable and unhappy, because he doesn't understand why everybody's getting numbers except for him. Okay? It's because you're uncivilized, World. People sit back and they listen to how rude and disrespectful you are, how much hate you have inside of you because you have no relationship with God. And we hear that. We hear the hatred that lives deep in you. You're broken. You need a lot of help, but you can't just get it from being horrific to the world and to other human beings. You need to get right with God because your spirit is demonic. Okay? So if there's any hope for you, it's going to have to come from God. You might want to get a psychiatric evaluation, accept your diagnosis, and if they give you any medication, you want to take it because your behavior online is not civilized. It's not acceptable. It's not okay. Multiple people have all types of legal paperwork going on you. YouTubers. This is not, it's not acceptable. And there's no excuse for it at your age. You would think after all those years in prison, you'd be grateful to be out in the free world. I hope you get it together. All right, guys, stay blessed, and I'll see you in my next video.
All right. That was a lot. Um, Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope y'all have a great night. I will catch y'all in my next video. Peace.